So, as Matt said, I'm Ryan, and what I do is I serve as a personal CFO, but what I really want to share with you is what I actually believe in today. And where it is at, as all of us as high net worth, do it yourself investors, what I believe we all deserve is an ally. What I believe what all of you who have built a private portfolio of alternative investments have found yourself following a different path. You haven't found yourself following the norms. And so what I believe is that we as high net worth families deserve somebody that understands who we are, that understands that we've taken a road less traveled, and that we deserve to be defended from the predators and the pretenders out there today. See, when I was growing up, I always knew I was a little different. I always knew that I felt like I fit in. I always felt like I was outside, and it was almost felt like I was this fish, not just a fish out of water, but I was a fish frozen, and anyone could just pick me up and move me wherever they wanted to. See, I've been called queer, I've been called faggot, I've been called a piece of shit, and I have been called worthless. I knew at a very young age I was very different. I knew that I didn't fit in. I knew the way I thought about things was different. I knew the way I looked at things was different. And I knew that there was a different path and it was okay to take a different path. And so growing up, the way I grew up, not being able to necessarily see always where that different path was going to lead me, but I knew I was different. And so as time went on, and graduated high school, graduated college, followed the proverbial corporate America path, just doing more and more of what people told me I was supposed to do, just following and being a good soldier and just marching right along, doing what society said I was supposed to do, doing what the structure said I was supposed to do. I knew it was time. I knew this little fish had to find another bowl to be swimming in. And this may not be unlike some of you, particularly as high net worth, successful, what I call do-it-yourself investors. You're on a different path as well. After all, you're here and realizing that there's something beyond the traditional stocks, bonds, mutual funds, whatever you want to call it, that you're doing alternative investments as well. And, you know, I have been, for my whole life, alternative, you could say. And having had a nice career myself, amassing a fair amount of wealth in my own right through real estate investing, as Matt mentioned, I was a fund manager at one point. I fixed and flipped my own properties. I've been a private lender, senior debt, mezz debt, preferred equity, common equity, you name it, and I am all of that still today. But I continue to follow a path that is not the norm. And one of the things I've come to realize as high net worth families, do-it-yourself investors, that there are three big issues today to be able to sustain our wealth in order to fully support the lifestyles, whatever you want them to be, whoever you are, whatever your family situation is, what you want, and to allow the wealth to work for you and not you working for it. One of the big things the first big thing I have realized, and it's been a common theme in here, is this idea of reporting. So as a high net worth do-it-yourself investor that's been successful, what's made you successful to this point is not necessarily going to be able to keep us there given all the chaos happening politically, economically, and socially. So this idea of reporting, you've got deal sponsors, asset managers, your rental property. Maybe it is your traditional portfolio. You've got custodians that the way they report. If your reporting system feels like what you're seeing on the screen, which absolutely makes no sense, you're absolutely not alone. As a do-it-yourself high net worth family, I have no idea what this slide is, and it's precisely the point. When you're a high net worth investor and you're trying to aggregate all this data and all this information to make smart decisions about your investments, it's virtually impossible to do because you are hearing from anybody else who's controlling the data in the terms that they want you to hear it, which is not necessarily wrong, except it's your money. And you need to be able to make smarter, more pinpoint, more accurate decisions about your portfolio, whatever it is, alts, real estate, stocks, bonds, this custodian, this manager, that manager. You might be managing some of your own stuff. It doesn't matter. But when you can't trust your own data because you can't aggregate it, this is part of the problem that the DIYers, specifically high net worth, have had. And I'm very excited to say we think we've cracked a code on this. My team and I have found and have a single sign-on reporting system, so all of your transaction data of all your traditionals, your alts, whatever they are, and you can actually see your own IRR. Not just what an asset manager is telling you, but what's actually happening in real time in your portfolio. See, this is what I think we deserve. As high net worth, do-it-yourself investors, we need something more. Good enough is no longer just good enough. See, I believe you deserve the best. And this reporting issue is part of this issue. And we think this single sign-on reporting, whether your assets are on a platform such as Verivest can flow through, your own assets, regardless of what custodian that you have, having that single sign-on in real-time, meaningful data is what we as high net worths deserve, at least what I feel like we deserve. The second biggest thing, we believe that there's something more, that there's something bigger is possible for all of us. After all, we got on our own track and started doing alternatives in real estate investments. But what most of us don't have, unless you're more than $200 million of personal net worth, is what I call the virtual family office. And this is the framework that you're seeing on the screen, but I'm going to describe it to you in a way to help you see something bigger, help you see something more possible for yourselves, for your life, for your family, whatever's the most important to you. See, if you want to have cash flow that is better optimized from a tax perspective, real estate is not your tax mitigation plan. It's a part of a tax mitigation plan, but when we talk to high net worth do-it-yourself investors and ask about a tax, what is your tax mitigation plan? There's a lot of blank stares, such as what I'm seeing in some of your faces right now. Because see, what's happened for us, do-it-yourself investors, newsflash for all of you, we're all an anomaly. It's still, to this day in 2022, is very difficult to operate in this environment because most of our tax advisors are tax compliance advisors. And so having a true tax mitigation plan is what is part of having a virtual family office. If you decide to have and you want your wealth to be protected from being unjustly taken from you, the virtual family office might be a construct for you. If you are looking to magnify your charitable contributions, perhaps. Maybe you have a calling to make a bigger difference in the world. Maybe it's to yourself, maybe it's to your family, maybe it's to your kids, whoever it may be. If you have it, the virtual family office is part of this construct that I've realized is an absolutely very necessary thing if you want to at least maintain what you have, as well as if you want to do something more or something bigger than what you're doing right now. If you have a desire to make sure that your wealth is doing for you what you want it to do and how you want to do it for those you care most about, the virtual family office, in addition to the single sign-on reporting, is a key ingredient that it takes today. Because see, I was looking for, as my wealth grew, as my complexity of my own family situation and my own wealth situation, I was going, where are these experts that are here to help us? Why is it that when I call my tax advisor, I get a very canned answer? Why is it that when I call my insurance agent, I get a canned answer? They have no idea who I am, and they can't even spell alternative, let alone barely real estate, or they think what we all in this room choose to invest in is like a four-letter word, except we all know differently. We all know that following the conventional path when we don't own and take control of ourselves is going to lead us to a place we may not very well want to be. And I believe the VFO, or the virtual family office, is part of that. The third biggest thing I believe that we as high net worth do-it-yourself investors deserve to have is an ally. See, growing up, For me, and realizing I was different, having society put it very blatantly in my face that I was different, is that when you're a high net worth family, you feel like you're out on an island and you're doing things on your own. And it doesn't have to be that way. It does not have to be that way at all. And I believe we deserve an ally. I believe we deserve somebody who understands us, who is doing what we want to do, not what society tells us we're supposed to be doing, or a financial advisor, or your tax accountant, or your banker, or your insurance agent, and the list goes on and on and on. You should do this, you should do this. It doesn't matter what anyone tells you to do. All that matters is, what do you want? And you can have it. You've all gotten here. You're all successful here. And you deserve the best, to go from this quiet confidence that I think we're doing okay to a real, authentic confidence. And having an ally on your team is what brings that to you. So these are the big three things: single sign-on reporting, the virtual family office, having an ally on your team is what allows us to authentically, with authentic confidence, move forward. And why I believe having this defends your lifestyle, whatever it is, whatever you want out of life, whatever you're called to have, is how we continue to progress with this. So this is a picture of my greatest allies in my life. So this is my mom, my dad, and my partner Brian. My partner's here with us this weekend as well. And this picture, we just came back from the Holy Land. For those of you that haven't been or haven't been there in a while, it was a life-changing experience for me. I was there with, obviously, my family, a couple other families. Our priest was with us. This is on the Sea of Galilee. And this was a dream my mother had. She wanted to be able to go to the Holy Land, take us, my father traveling anywhere beyond his hometown where I was born and raised, 10 minutes is like a feat in and of itself. And, we got in that business class seat, and life was good. This is on the Sea of Galilee, and my mom always wanted this. And my parents, growing up, were my greatest allies. See, they said, Ryan, there's something bigger. There's something more. Whatever you're going through, whatever you're here, whatever you're dealing with, we're here. We got your back. We're your ally. And that's what I grew up with. I had parents that never stopped believing. They always realized there was something bigger. There was something more out there. And see, that's what I believe for every one of you. You all are blazing your own path. Even today, in the 2022, this do-it-yourself alternative real estate investor is still a novelty, almost non-existent in some worlds. And probably you've run into resistance in that when you talk about what you're doing and why you're doing it. My family, my allies, they've always believed in me, and that's where I stand in front of you here today and have invested millions of dollars of my own money creating this, and I'm so in alignment with what VeriVest is trying to do, just to bring this constant and much more and much needed transparency, and that's what I deserve, what I feel you deserve, and what I believe continues to be possible. So I will leave you with really thinking about, what is your best life? What does your best life of significance look like? Why are you working as hard as you did? Why are you doing things maybe a little differently than anybody and everybody else? Why are you here? What makes it worthwhile for you? And so living it fully every day, living your life fully every day, being authentic with yourself. I'm Ryan Parson with Sunlight Peaks. While I am a personal CFO, what I believe is that you truly deserve the best, to have your best life of significance on your terms, nobody else, so you can go authentically live it, have it, and take care of those that matter the most to you. We'll see you at lunch.